An almost secret way through the brick wall, another kind of discovery to use against the debt collectors. A Periscope scope. Brought to you by Ken Joubert at yourlegallegup.com, your advantage if you're being sued by debt collectors. The following is a Periscope scope. Follow us on Twitter or Periscope to hear these things live and ask questions. Find us on Twitter or Periscope at yourlegallegup or search pound YLLU. This is Ken Joubert, and this is yourlegallegup.com. You can follow us on Twitter, and you can also get us on and follow us on Periscope at yourlegallegup or search pound YLLU. I forget to do that sometimes. Your Legal Leg Up is a website that helps people defend their rights against debt collectors. Basically, it's everything you need to protect yourself against the debt collectors without having to hire a lawyer. So we all know that hiring lawyers is really expensive and it's scary. And being sued or harassed by debt collectors is also scary, but we take a lot of the mystery out of that. And we can help you do everything that you need to do. All right, so, excuse me. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a couple of alternative discovery methods. So when a lawsuit is filed on you and you get served, then you have to take some action. So nothing that we do or talk about here today is going to mean that you don't need to do discovery. I mean, you don't need to do an answer. You have to answer or respond either with a motion to dismiss or some other appropriate way. And we'll talk about that in a later Periscope. But for now, we're going to talk about a couple of things that you ought to do right off the bat when you find that you're being sued, and whether you've been served or not, if you think you've been sued by a company. And we'll take the first one, which is you probably know that under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCPA, you have a right to dispute a debt and force the company to verify it. That is, if they contact you and if it's a consumer debt. So those are two fairly big requirements. They have to initiate the contact, and it has to be of a debt, which is a consumer debt. But there is another way to do something similar to that, which does not require them to have contacted you, because filing a lawsuit is not an initial contact for purposes of the FDCPA. However, there is another way to do it. And so if you are being sued by a debt collector, you know that they've got you in their sights, but you don't know whether they have reported you as a bad debt on your credit report. So under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you have a right, you probably know this, you have a right to require companies that are reporting you to prove that it's a legitimate report. Okay, so the way you would do that is immediately upon finding out that you're being sued, you would get your credit report. That's your very first step, and you're going to look to see if the debt is on there. Okay, now if you're being sued by a debt buyer, then a couple of people could already have reported. I mean, the original creditor could have already reported you, right? So that won't do you much good. But if the original creditor has reported you, it's also possible that the debt collector will, and it's even possible that the debt collector will report you without the original creditor having reported you. So if the debt collector is reporting you, you can dispute the debt. And when you dispute the debt, you require them to prove it. Okay? And so a lot of times you'll discover when you're dealing with debt collectors in the legal process, it's almost impossible to get a straight answer to a question. Your discovery is going to be ignored. or you'll be stonewalled a lot, okay? So one way around that, at least partly, is to dispute the debt under the Credit Reporting Act. Now, the timing is a little bit difficult here, and I gotta emphasize that seeking verification under either the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act or the Credit Reporting Act, which are two different things, neither of which supply, is an answer to the petition. So once they file suit, again, I emphasize, you still have to answer the petition, or you'll lose the case before it even gets started. Okay, you'll default, and you won't have a chance to do anything. So don't do that. Answer the petition. We've discussed that. There's lots of materials on my site, yourlegallegup.com, and lots of help there. You can find us at Fight Debt on YouTube also. Lots of videos, lots of help answering your petition. But you have to do that. But once you do that, then you enter what we call the discovery phase, and this is a shortcut or kind of an end around on some of their tricks, because they don't want to give you a right to sue them under the Credit Reporting Act. And so if you start disputing the debt, they will probably give you the straightest answers that you're ever going to get in response to the Credit Reporting Act dispute. Now, the timing is a little bit difficult there, so you have to get that started right off the bat, and it's a separate, kind of a parallel thing. You can compare what you get from the lawyers as you sort of muscle your way through the discovery process with what you get through your credit report dispute. Okay, so that's one thing. And now let me remind you that this is Ken Joubert at Your Legal Leg Up, and you can follow us on Pinterest or Twitter at Your Legal Leg Up, and you can also find lots of stuff about us at search for #YLLU. Okay. Now, an alternative way of doing discovery for people who are in California, and there are a few other jurisdictions, but California is the most notable, is what's called a bill of particulars. And the advantage of a bill of particulars, of a request for a bill of particulars, is that when a company sues you, they are, under California law, assumed to have done the backup work and to have the stuff that they need to justify their lawsuit against you. Now, the fact of the matter is, they don't. They never do. Okay, and but the law supposes that they do, and what that means is then that when you file your request for a bill of particulars, they only have 10 days to answer, and it's a generic thing. You ask for everything they've got in support of their claim, and there are very few objections that they can make to that, very few that they will make, and they only have 10 days. Now, debt collectors never have this stuff. So you're going to have to work your way through the process. But if you're in California, you'll have a really good chance of finding out exactly what they do or do not have very quickly using the bill of particulars. We have materials on our website to help you with that if you're interested in doing that. Okay, so I'm going to call it a wrap on this Periscope. Again, this is Your Legal Leg Up. Everything you need to defend yourself and your rights from the debt collectors without having to hire a lawyer. You can do this on your own. We can help. And you can find us at #YLLU or Your Legal Leg Up on either Twitter or Periscope. Okay? Thanks again for the good times. Please like this video, comment, and share it with others, as these things help other people find our materials. yourlegallegup.com